So today we have JD Rose, who's a freelancer, and she's going to talk a little bit about how that works for her. And maybe you can get a sense and an idea of what you can do, what options you have. So I'm going to add her now. Hi, JD.
Hi, Wanda. Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you? How was
Good,
your day?
good. How about you?
I'm good. I feel, relaxed. I'm glad we did this at 3 o'clock. So
Right?
I was able to do a lot today and on my own time, not rushing it. So I feel a lot better. Thank you.
Oh,
And
good.
thank you for accepting my invite to speak to my audience, who most of them are in their 50s, 40s, late 30s,
Yeah.
the working class or single moms. And so I did invite you because I want to know, and I'm sure many people want to know, how as a freelancer you do it and
Mhm.
and balance it all out. So give us a little bit about overall yourself, and then we'll talk from there for each one that you do.
Okay. Okay. So I have about at least four different occupations. Um,
Four.
four. Yeah, I'm going to name them. I'm going to name them.
Okay.
Two of them are seasonal, and the other two are for the most part freelance. And I ended up just by doing all of them just by exploring my interests, right?
Okay.
So the one that I've been doing the longest is I am a freelance studio director for a local news channel.
Okay.
And I was always interested in production. And so being able to work freelance allows me to create my own schedule. And so, aside from that, I I prepare taxes. I am a tax preparer
Great.
for a tax chain, a company, and I just had an interest in that because I just wanted to know what all the loopholes were, especially for the self-employed and sole proprietors, small businesses. And I've been doing that for about 15 years. So I've got 20 years freelance directing, and then I've got 15 years preparing taxes. And along the way, around the same time that I started doing taxes, I was interested, and because of my directing in local news, I became interested in makeup. I am a professional makeup artist.
Nice.
Yeah, where I do makeup professionally. I'm out in the field. I'm on call. I just completed my fourth magazine cover for a Hamptons circulation publication called Social Life Magazine. I've done four covers for them. And actually, they just called me. I have a shoot next weekend
Okay.
for a four-page spread. Um, and I do makeup for productions, whether it's independent films or commercials or photo shoots. I work with photographers. Occasionally, I'll do weddings and a bride, right? So that's freelance for me. I get called to do makeup, and then I'm rearranging my schedule.
Okay.
And then the fourth occupation that I had was, which I've only been doing, that's what I've been doing for the least amount of time, probably for about 9 years now, is in the summertime, I bartend. That's just for the summer. I just do that just to get out and party. So as far as production goes, I've also been a filmmaker, and I've worked on other people's productions. I've produced for other people. I've directed for other people on independent projects as well. And so I just use bartending in the summertime just to socialize and just to get out.
And you're able to do that, huh? Well,
Yeah.
we're going to go back into that and remind me to ask you that question. How does that work now with the COVID? But going back to the director part,
Yes.
um, you said 20 years. That's a long time. So 20 years, how has that worked for you? Like when you first started 20 years ago,
Yes.
you came straight out of college. How did you get into that? What made you interested? Did someone reach to you and said, "Hey, come on here. You're good at this. We want to check you out."
Well, here's the thing. So I got my bachelor's degree in business administration and a concentration in marketing and a minor in Spanish, right? So I started working in corporate America and I was bored.
Oh, okay.
I always had an interest in production, and I used to uh, be a wedding videographer on the side. That was like a side hustle for me.
Okay.
I was always the camera girl at the weddings. And so then what happened? Actually, I got into the way the story goes is I actually got into a minor fender bender. I mean, I hated my corporate job, right? My 9 to 5, hated it. And I got into this fender bender and I said, you know what? This is my chance. And I reworked my resume. And the funny story is that my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend got me an interview on the B. Smith. That's the truth, true story.
Well, that's
Um,
good.
yeah, because you got to know somebody to get in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was also at the time I was also doing work with my local public access channel. So
Okay.
at least a whole dozen of shows that I produced and directed for public access for free. And so I got this interview with this nationally syndicated television show. And B. Smith, at the time, was being referred to as the Black Martha Stewart. She had a magazine. She was a model. She recently passed away in 2020.
Okay.
And but so I got this. So I got the job. And so that was my first show. And then that show went on hiatus. And then I went on to a show called Judge Mills Lane. I was
Oh,
working on that show for about a year. Yep. Behind the scenes in production. And then I got the best advice from the one of the executive producers of the show. He says, "What is it you want to do?" I said, "I want to direct." And he said, "Okay, well then what you need to is you need to go check local news because they never go out on hiatus."
right.
So, I managed to finagle my way into this network, and I haven't turned back since.
That's great. And how does that work? So now you're in. How does that work with your scheduling? Because I do know that you have a very strange schedule for that type of work. And how do you like our biological clock doesn't really work with the, non 9 to 5. So I guess you like it in a way because you still do your own thing. But tell us what time you actually wake up and then to do that job.
Well, here's the thing. I mostly do morning shows, which
Right.
means that my shift starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, which means that I have to wake up at 3 in the morning. Now, the beauty of it is that because I'm not full time, that's not my regular schedule all
Okay.
the time.
Okay.
So it totally works for me. I totally make it work.
And that's why you like it. And that's why you love.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on the weekends, I can also do the night shift as well.
Okay.
On the weekends, usually not weeknights because I do have a 12-year-old daughter, and she needs me. She's got homework. I need
Yeah.
around, so
That's good.
wanted to be a part-time stay-at-home mom, and working freelance and doing seasonal work is just my way to do it.
That's interesting that you said that. So you did that for 20 years. You said she's 12 years old. So
Correct.
how did you like what were you thinking? Like what happened? Because you're still doing the other stuff then later on, right?
Yes.
You probably started doing the other three gigs a little bit after she was born, or
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
how did that work? Like what inspired you then to do, I know the tax preparation part, which we're gonna get back into that like deeper a little bit,
Yes.
but the makeup artist and then the summertime, was it because you had to find additional funding for to take care of your daughter? Like tell us a little bit about that. How that
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Well, working freelance. The thing is that I never know what my pay is going to be, what my paycheck is going to be,
okay.
right? And so I work when people either are out sick or take a day off or they're out on vacation.
Okay.
I don't have a steady schedule. So I needed to supplement my income, and I wanted to supplement my income with things that I'm even remotely interested in, right?
Right.
So I became interested in makeup because my shift would start at 5, and I would see my anchors having coffee before the show starts with no makeup on. And then some magic happened between the time that I just saw you in the kitchen and the time you sat down in front of my camera. And I wanted to know what that
That was.
was. So I found a curriculum that was offered 105 credit hours from the New York State Department of Education. And I took that course, and then I've just been out in the field ever since.
Okay.
Usually word of mouth. And I also sell makeup too, which you know.
I know,
You
independent beauty
know.
consultant.
Yes.
But as a makeup artist, what did you notice about because you had mentioned before that people go into it, like how much did that cost,
Right.
and how much money did you get back out of it for
Right.
doing that, because it's not cheap, if people are interested in doing something like that.
Right. So at the time, the curriculum cost $3,000.
Okay, and that was back in the early 2000s?
2006.
Okay.
2006. I'm sure the price has since gone up.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And people take curriculums, including my makeup class, and they take curriculums for a variety of things, and then they don't pursue it. It's just like when I started doing taxes, I had to take the course, the introductory tax course that was being offered. And there are people that just took it just because they thought they'd learn everything they need to know to do taxes. Not, but they just don't want to work it. But I did, and I've gotten better at both. I've gotten better at makeup. I've gotten better at taxes. I was teaching taxes last fall
Okay.
of 2019.
So you're gonna do your own thing on, the YouTube lessons on how to do, like, just do your own JD introduction.
No, no, not. Oh, you mean like a tutorial?
Yeah, like build your own, app where people can learn. It's just a thought.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
No, no. I actually just launched my YouTube channel, which a link that you can post if you'd like.
Okay.
And basically, what's on there are various credits of production work that I've done over the decades, right? I've got decades worth of things that I've produced, that I've directed, that I've done voiceovers for. And so I just decided that to just post it there,
Right.
because it was just sitting here at home on DVD collecting dust. So I may as well just
Post it. Yeah.
let people see what I can do, what I've done. I've done a lot.
I know. I saw some videos. I don't know if you want to talk about that with the bartending for the summer and socializing, but I
Right.
saw your videos and I could not have seen that coming, because I always thought of you as a quiet, shy person, behind the
Hmm.
scenes,
Just the
type of
quiet
person.
ones you gotta watch, Wanda.
Oh man. But that is true. But
Hmm.
I was surprised, and I was like excited too at the same time, because I
Right.
seen your daughter and I'm like, oh my God, this is where she gets it from. This is
Right.
where she gets that creativity
I
and
hope so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of daughters, let's go back into the tax thing.
Yes.
So one of the things that our listeners and viewers, for my platform, who have messaged me, we have a networking party once a month.
Hmm.
We did our first one last month. And one of the biggest conversations that we had was about taxes.
Right.
And, we are generally instructed that if you work for someone, you have to pay taxes. And then you file your taxes, and then you either owe or you get a refund, whatever, or reimbursed for the overpayment. Because I
Right.
never call it a refund. But and a lot of, at least two of the people that were there, they didn't know this, that if they started to sell, like, let's say Avon, or they started to sell paparazzi jewelry, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize all of the stuff that they. So give us a little, like, summary of how you experience your clients, or I guess applicants, or people that filed with
Clients.
you,
Mm-hmm.
clients. What, give us, like, what have you learned? Like, wow, these people didn't know this, and I'm glad that I took the course to just do this as a job as well. So give
Right,
us like
right. Okay, so when you have self-employment income, whether it's selling Avon or paparazzi, whatever you're selling, if you have self-employment income, essentially you're starting your own business, and whether your income is from cash, or even if you're receiving check payments or even credit card payments, that opens you up to deductions that you would not otherwise be entitled to with just a W-2 that you get a year from a job with just getting paychecks. It doesn't matter how small or large the amount is that your self-employment income is. For example, automatically you use your cell phone. Half of your cell phone bill for the year is a deduction, because the presumption is that you use your cell phone, half personal, half business. That right off the top is a deduction. If you use in New York City a Metro card, that that all if you use that to deliver products
transportation.
to clients, not that you use it to go to work every day, but if you need that to get around for your business, well, guess what? A monthly Metro card for the year is a deduction. All the supplies that you incur to run your business, whether it's printer ink, printer paper, pens, pencils, um, a desk, a chair. You can
A laptop.
you could depreciate your laptop, correct?
Yeah.
Your iPad, whatever your supplies are. I mean, in makeup, we have a lot of disposable things that we need, right? All of that now becomes a write-off. Um, when I do makeup, I did a cover, the September 2020 issue of Social Life magazine, right? We did that shoot in July. Well, of course, I'm going to be in somebody's face, so of course I'm going to wear a mask, where I usually wouldn't in the past, but I'm wearing a mask. Well, guess what? Masks now become a deduction for me, right?
PPE, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a benefit. That's a benefit of just having that self-employment income, the
And
deductions,
what would you say for those who do their own taxes?
right?
You know, like, because I know a lot of people, they are working a position, a job at somewhere else, but they
Hmm.
also do a little gig on the side, but they think that they do their own taxes. Have you experienced anyone who has done that and then come to you like, help?
Absolutely.
Okay. And why was that? What were they doing? What were the mistakes that they were doing?
They were missing out on a lot of deductions that they weren't even aware of. And it gets kind of complicated. Understand that the tax preparation, whatever you pay to have your taxes done, guess what? That's a deduction.
Advertisable.
So you may as well have somebody do it for
Everything
you,
for you.
because it's just going to be a deduction in next year's tax return. So it's people think they're saving money, but no,
Right.
money for you to gain by getting it done.
And you had mentioned that you had done taxes for a dancer one time where they used their costume in storage.
Costumes in storage. Yeah,
And would that include insurance as well? Their insurance to insure, like, let's say they have their costume in a storage place, but they also paid the insurance for it.
correct. So
Oh,
long as it has to do with work, and that you're not storing furniture. Yeah,
okay.
the storage bill for the year.
And I have a question, one more.
Yes.
Let's say that cell phone bill is paid by a family member. Can you still add that on your?
Well, here's the thing. IRS loves a paper trail. And at any point in time, you can get a letter 3 years after the tax return is completed from the IRS saying that, well, you claimed all these business deductions. Now prove it. They want to see receipts.
Okay.
At which point you would have to produce the bill. And if you were in an audit, you'd have to be able to prove that whose ever name is on that bill, you have to be able to prove that it was for you and not for them.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Mhm.
That was awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your summer, when you bartend. So what are you doing now since the COVID? How are you replacing that summer seasonal freelance position? What are you doing? What did you do this summer aside from the that magazine makeup?
Shoot,
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, because of the pandemic, no parties. So no, I did not bartend this summer. But however, news media is essential.
Okay.
So especially with all of the press conferences that the governor was doing, um, I was working more than I ever have at the news station, putting in all kinds of extra hours.
So that's great. So that really, it goes to show people that sometimes when something bad happens, you have to have a backup for everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. I like that.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people, well, I'm freelance, and even some permanently employed people look down. Well, well, you don't have your own schedule. You never know what your pay is going to be. But the operative word is free. I've got peace of mind.
Yeah. And some free time too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm here for my daughter when she needs me. That's the bottom.
Right. Right.
And right now, she's a principal's list student.
You think she better be?
Yeah, yeah. She
Yeah.
completed her first year of middle school on
Yeah.
uh, the 93 average. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
And she's very lucky to have you as a mom.
Thank
So
you.
that's awesome. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about how is that? Like how is it raising a daughter in 2020 with all the social media and all the
Right.
stuff going on? What are your fears and what is the one thing that you're focusing on now that she's 12? She's 12,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so tall.
I know. She's older. I would say being able to have an open communication and an open dialogue with her, um, especially with all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say inappropriate things that could be online at this point in time. And we talk about things all the time, she and I, about, okay, she knows the difference, like what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And, uh, and I know these kids, they're forever sending each other inappropriate things to each other in text messages and stuff. And I'm not afraid of her seeing something that's inappropriate. Um, what I, the lesson that I told her with regards to specifically that is that that cannot stay on your hard drive or on your camera roll. Like you need to delete it immediately, right?
Right.
People lose jobs over having inappropriate things on their equipment. And I told her that if that she could possibly get expelled from school for having inappropriate things. So if someone sends you something inappropriate, delete it.
Delete it.
Delete it.
I agree.
We just keep an open dialogue. We talk about things.
That's great. And you had mentioned before that that's one of the things that you're working on yourself, like making sure that the legacy is intact. You're going to put all of those old videos on there.
Yeah, they're all there, and she's getting a kick out of it because even
I
she's
love that.
seen it. But it's on YouTube now, and she's on YouTube. And so she's looking at the stuff that I did 20 years ago, and she's like, wow. She's totally fascinated by it.
I know. And
And
she
see,
should be, yeah.
And speaking of legacy, I'm all about intergenerational wealth, you
Right.
see, because aside from these occupations of my interests, right, I'm very big on investing at this point in time. I've been working on it. I started investing late in life, 5 years ago. I'm not the best at it, but guess what? I'm in it.
Right.
I'm in it every morning. I've got CNBC on. I keep an eye on the markets because every move that I make financially, financial wise, and other is for her benefit. She's the one that I just want her to be able to have resources that if she wants to do something different when she's finished with her education, that she's got the resources. Okay, there you go. She's got it. She doesn't have to worry. Well, how can I do this? I want to do this, but how? Where's this money coming?
Right. And that's something definitely they're not going to learn in college or in
Absolutely
school.
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. And there's a whole population of people that are raising their kids that they make money by clicking the mouse online on their computer. And that's where I've been going to conferences and I've been learning more, expanding on my knowledge. I practice it, and it's just a matter of time before I get to the next level at it.
Yeah. And I noticed that. Having conversations with people our age, I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say because we're in our late 20s. Um,
Yes.
we're learning kind of late, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but I do end up speaking with a lot of people, and that's why I want this podcast to go, into the places where it really needs to go into,
Right.
because I did notice a lot of I'm retiring in 5 years. I'm going to be
Hmm.
55. But what I wanted to know what now is how, oh my God, I could have done this a long time ago. I could have a coffee truck and make $150,000 a year and
That's
tax
right.
write everything. I
That's
mean, if I
right.
would have known that at 20,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I mean, the day trading that I do, these guys that I subscribe to and that I trade with, these guys have been doing this since 1999. Well, guess what? No one had a conversation with me back in 1999 that this was
exactly.
even an option. It just makes me angry, right?
Right.
And I try and talk, spread the word, and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm learning. And everybody is just, no, I just want to stay with my 9 to 5 until I retire and then I die.
The traditional thing, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, some people just like to stay safe, but this is why I invited you, because I know that you have that knowledge of what else can I be doing?
That's
Um,
right.
because especially now, there were so many people that got laid off. There's so many people that are scared now that they don't know what they're gonna do, and they
Right.
don't have plan B. So before we end this, I want you to tell us a little bit about what you see in the next. Oh, wait, we have to talk about that documentary you made.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So I had, before I made my documentary, I had made a short film back in 2004, 9-minute short film comedy. The title is Closure, about a woman on 10 dates and the bizarre things that the dates say to her. It was my true story. Hilarious. Screened in 20 film festivals throughout the United States and London, England. And every time my film screened, there I was traveling to that festival because they always do a Q&A. My film was not screening without me. So once that was well received, I wanted to do this documentary about Flight 587 that left JFK 2 months after 9/11 happened. It left JFK, headed to Santo Domingo, and it crashed in the Bell Harbor section of Queens.
Right.
So the angle that I used to make that documentary, my documentary is about 52 minutes long. The angle that I used is I wanted to uh, cover who was on the plane. So I interviewed about 5 families, and they talked about losing their loved ones so abruptly and what their lives have been like since losing their loved ones in that way. Just
Right.
like a little memorial to the people on the plane because their lives mattered. And no one seemed to care about that particular flight. That particular flight is the second worst air disaster on United States soil. And I guarantee you, as I speak, that people that are looking, whoever looks at this interview is going to think, well, gee, I didn't even know that happened. I encountered that all the time. So I wanted to make a difference and do something about it. So I made it. The problem is that there's not a market for sad stories, as I learned after making the documentary, because it is a bit of a sad story.
Right.
It's screened at a handful of festivals, and I've done private screenings with it. I'm kind of like in limbo with it now. I thought I would have it distributed. I'm hesitant to post it online. It is called Flight 587 Honor. I did make a Facebook page for it back in 2008. It's there. So if you'd like to host a screening for Salty Coffee, I'll gladly.
What was the anniversary date? Do you remember? Do you know?
The end of the crash?
Yeah.
November 12th, 2001.
Okay, so we can definitely talk about doing something like that for next month.
Yes, I would love to.
And with that said, I am so happy that you made it today. That
Me
we're
too.
both in Zen and relaxed and free.
Yes, the operative word, free.
Free.
Yes.
And can you give us the name again of your YouTube, or do you have a website? Or I can post it later on where people can reach you for any of your, makeup artists, if there's
Yes.
someone out there that needs that,
Yes.
for their magazine, their wedding, or anyone who needs their tax prepared. You
Or
can.
if anybody wants the glitter lips.
I know. I love. Oh my God! I just need those and the shoes.
Dorothy,
I love that.
if anybody wants it, by all means, please contact me and
Yeah.
support me. Because
Okay.
I carry it. It's one of the things that I carry.
So you're gonna give me your information again so that I can post it
Yes, definitely.
on every. So this is being shown live on my Facebook, facebook.com/Wanda's Salty Coffee, and then the Salty Coffee podcast on YouTube. But I will be sharing it with everybody, and you can share it as well.
Okay, great.
JD, thank you again so much.
You're
You're so
welcome.
beautiful. Your
Thank
daughter
you.
is amazing. She has
Thank
the
you,
best
Wanda.
mom ever. And
Thanks, Wanda.
I want to thank you. I don't know what else.
My pleasure.
I got some stuff for you also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
All
we'll
right.
talk, we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know about the flight 587.
Okay, great.
I want to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.